G'day guys, welcome back to beautiful spring here in Tours, France for DreamHack Open and the WCS Spring Championship. It is continuing here on the B stream. I actually couldn't stop watching that our preview screen of how beautiful the city actually looks.
I know, that was
I feel like
awesome.
we're missing a lot of it.
Especially this one shot where there was like a little paddle like in the river. It felt like they were in the jungle. Reminded me of this movie, American Gangster, you know, when he when he goes and they go through the swamps and stuff. I was like, wow, I didn't know Tours has crocodiles and swamps. It's awesome.
I actually would like to go for a paddle before I head back to Australia. That'd be nice.
Yeah, you like to be surrounded by creatures that kill you. I don't. I'm scared.
It's an Australian thing. We just love danger. We like to be on the edge.
I think both players are almost ready already. I'm just going to confirm this.
And the two players that we are about to watch are, in fact, Hydra, the DreamHack Austin champion, against Bales, Flipside Tactics' little underdog here in this ZvP clash.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
There has been some very crazy upsets here already.
Especially
Can Bales keep the upset hype train going here against the Austin champion? What do you think, Roddy? I mean, if you're a betting man...
I'm not.
Oh, come on. You can't lie to them. You can lie to me, but to the Twitch
I never lie to my viewers. No, if I was a betting man, obviously I'm going to put my money here on Hydra. If there were even odds, we'll get 8-1 on Bills, and I might actually go for a cheeky one on Bills. But Hydra is a pretty big favorite here. There's no way around it. But I've said that early today that I really thought that Bolt versus Strange was going to be a very straightforward 3-0, maybe a 3-1, but that was about it, and it turned into one of the most epic series that I have seen in the 6-year history of this game. Yeah. So I'm not going to make any super bold predictions over here, but Hydra is the favorite. One thing, though, that Bills could definitely work with is that Bills was at DreamHack Austin as well, and he obviously saw the finals between Neep and Hydra, and I think he can take a lot of notes from that finals. Yeah,
he is up still against a previously Casper Korean that is... an incredible mechanical, and Hydra has the fire inside as well. I know Sue was talking to me a little bit, talking to Hydra, and how he felt about this tournament. You know, Hydra's normally a very reserved, very calm guy. He's like, yes, you know, I'd like to win. I'd like to, you know, I'd like to.
He's not that bad though.
No, but this time he's like, I need to win. He actually said that.
He needs to win.
I need to win. He doesn't actually need to win with how much he's got, but that's how he feels.
If there's anybody that needs the win, Maynard, it's me. I wish I could go back to my competitive roots, and you know, if I was as good right now as I was in 2005, like I wouldn't be making millions, but I'd be earning like decent, you know. Like, but back then, earning $100 in eSports was as hard as earning 1,000 now.
Yeah,
it was rough, man. Back in my days.
I should tell you about the late 90s when I was playing Quake 1 and how much money I made. Anyway, in the North spawn here, we have got Flipside Tactics' Bales, Protoss player.
You ain't that much older than me, Maynard.
About a year or two, I think.
31?
We're pretty close.
Are you 31?
I'm 31, yep.
Yeah, I'm 29. Okay.
There you go. Yep. And in the bottom spawn here, from Root Gaming, the Austin champion, it is Hydra.
Man, it's always so hard to like start a new series after you come off such a hype series. Dude. I know you just did the mainstream as well. That was a pretty damn cool series. With
my blood's still on fire, man, from that last game. I get very, very hyped, especially with the, you know, the stage and that crowd being pretty incredible. I feed off that stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, you feed off the tears of the French. Everybody's like, oh no, Drogo's losing. And Ben is like, I'm loving it.
I feed off emotion. If it's positive or negative, I take it all, Rotterdam. I take it inside and I turn it into hype.
You're an animal. The entire room is quiet and you're screaming your lungs out. I was like, Maynard, please show some respect.
Never. No, I always show respect. I love a happy crowd. That's definitely the case. Poland and France have had some of the most insane crowds I've ever seen in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, the Polish people are always super awesome as well. And the French, too, they always show up. Unfortunately, so far, not the most successful run for the Frenchies, with Lilbo being eliminated, now Drogo as well. But they still have Firecake.
Yeah, and Firecake got very deep in Austin. He's a very, very strong Zerg.
He got deep in multiple tournaments as well. Early this year, Home Story Cup made it to... That was actually December, never mind, not early this year. But Home Story Cup, he made it to the final. And overall, Firecake has been posting very good results. Yeah, something that actually confuses some of the other French people. They're like, we don't get it. We always beat him in custom games. We always beat him on ladder. And then in tournaments, he outperforms all of us.
Yeah. His teammates with DeMuslim, I believe. And I remember DeMuslim at Poland always said that Firecake was just he was a cheeky boy. He would pull a fast one on you when he played games.
I don't even know what that means.
It means that he would just pull a surprise, like a rabbit out of the hat when you don't expect it.
I also heard that he's often holding back in custom games more to just learn about his opponents rather than actually practice himself.
That's very anime of him to hold back until the final battle.
Yeah, I know. That's when you level up. That's when you go Super Saiyan. Whoa. Alrighty, looking at the openings over here, everything looks relatively standard. Obviously, quick nexus over here for Bills. Followed it up with the gateways over here. He's pumping out multiple adepts. I think this is kind of interesting. The 2 adept opening I'm not too surprised by. But the 4 adept opening has fallen out of fashion a little bit. It's very good against gasless openings, but he knows that there is gas, so opening up with 4 adepts is kind of risky. Now a couple of Zerglings are being annoying as well. I like this already.
He slipped straight through the pylon and gateway gap at the front ramp there and managed to get in here, and he's already just taxing the multitasking of Bales here by doing a bit of probe damage.
Because right now, Bills wants to be focused on these 2 adepts on the other side of the map. He wants to find these adepts are not going to do anything.
There are actually a lot of links here from Hydra, and he's already got this around. He's going to lose both of them.
Wow, I love that so much. You see what he did? He moved the links to the right side because he's like, all right, the left adept is definitely going to die. So he leaves like 1 or 2 links, and the queen and all other links jumped immediately and surrounded on the adept on the right side. Very small move there, but that actually guaranteed a kill on both.
You're totally right, Roddy, and that's those subtle little things to the untrained eye is kind of the mark of a champion, like someone that just does that extra little bit of effort and it always manages to get that extra edge.
Yeah.
It's a game of inches sometimes, StarCraft, especially at this level.
I can guarantee you that Bills is not happy with the way that this game has opened up so far. If you open up with 2 adepts and you send them across the map, you want to kill drones. You don't just want to like lose them like that.
Yeah, and that's 0 drones killed in this game, so definitely not in a solid opening here from Bales. Hydra is got his 3rd hatchery up. He's starting to drone up, going for Baneling Nest and melee upgrades as well, and this is kind of getting into fashion a little bit.
Absolutely, man. This is the flavor of the month, and everybody's loving it, and I find it kind of hard to play against. I'm not sure how confident Bills is. Now, actually, I've casted recently the TESPA Collegiate Archon Finals, where Bills represented Kansas, and he went up against Jon Snow, who represented RPI, a university in New York State. And the interesting thing is that Bills actually added Colossus to the mix a couple of times, and it works quite well. I mean, one of the main reasons why Banelings were not popular in Heart of the Swarm is because the Colossus shot all those styles down. But now suddenly Banelings are becoming very popular, so it would be really cool to see Bills actually, you know, mix in a couple of Colossus
and they trade quite nicely against adepts and that sort of thing. That's how they counter it. It's a very, very solid unit composition. It's pretty interesting. I love the fact that it's just, you know, there hasn't really been a patch in a really long time, and Zergs have just figured it out. Like, they've come up with a different idea, a different way to deal with things.
I find the double Stargate very strange. Like, there have been multiple double Stargate builds, but in this phase in the game, I find it kind of odd.
I feel like if he opens Stargate, this would make a bit more sense. But you know, going Phoenix is definitely not out of the ordinary. But you're right. At this point in the game, does seem a little bit strange, a little bit late.
Yeah. Because Phoenixes right now, by the time that these Phoenixes will be out, there will be a very solid 70 drone economy by Hydra. So what are Phoenixes really supposed to do? Pick up Hydras one by one? Like, no matter how many Phoenixes he's gonna make, he will not outnumber the amount of Hydralisk that Hydra can produce. So overall, I'm a little bit confused about the timing of these Stargates, but we'll see. The Overseer has spotted everything out as well, so if I'm Hydra right now, yeah, I love it. He just rushes into Lurkers, doesn't even make the Hydralisk upgrade, he just rushes into Lurkers. He did this once against Neep in the final, and I love that build.
Yeah, I actually remember that game, and it worked out very, very nicely, as we know, looking back at that particular game. 9 Hydras on the way, +1 attack already on the way, and his Zerglings and in the future, these Banelings, when the Adepts come on knocking, are going to be hitting very, very hard. Phoenix is coming on the way here for Bales, and also going for Blink Stalker as well.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of everything, which I'm not the biggest fan of.
I feel like he's spreading himself a bit thin here, but he is going to try and make it work. We've got an Immortal on the way here for Bales as well.
Yeah, why not? Why not make a couple Void Rays too? No, I'm very worried. He's just not going to have an answer. And the fact that there will not be any Hydralisk speed or muscular augments, I think it's called.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah, something like that. It doesn't really matter because he's spreading creep like a madman. Creep Tomb was already more than halfway through across the map. He's just going to make a couple of Lurkers, run across the map and contain Bills on 3 bases and force Bills to take a horrible fight against the Lurkers and the Hydralisk. I'm very worried for Bills here.
Yeah, they haven't clashed really, but it's just the way things are shaping up. Certainly looks very precarious here. I mean, the Immortal is the unit that you want against the Lurker. It's a very, very solid unit to you know, but you have to get up there. You have to get to the Lurker line. And you need the meat shield between the Immortal and the Lurker line to take out all those Hydralisks and those Lings.
I couldn't agree more, Maynard. And the most important thing is, like, the Immortal is the unit that you need, but 2 Immortals are not going to take care of 12 or 13 Lurkers.
If you had 6 or 8 Immortals, that's more like it.
Exactly. Well, there we do see these Hydralisk morphing into Lurkers, just 2 for now, so he's actually giving Bills a little bit of time. Bills has decided to take a support based on the low ground. I actually think it may be a little bit easier to take the one on the right side, but he decided to go for this one.
He's got Lings already on the right side expansion there, just keeping an eye on that for Hydra.
Sometimes you see Lurkers morph on this ledge over here, and that's super annoying, and when they shoot their spikes down.
Yeah,
he's playing with fire, he's going to lose a couple of Phoenixes.
Yeah, and that's already an investment there, and he's trying to get onto Disruptor as well, which, you know, it's also another option against Lurker play, and it can work, but...
I like it, but I think it's too late.
Yeah, quite possibly. The more drones going down here, more kills here with the Phoenixes, but it's just 3. Like, it's not really critical. The Phoenixes are in the sky, kind of dead weight at the moment. A big attack here from Hydra, and there goes that Nexus. It just gets absolutely evaporated by the DPS here of this upgraded Zerg army. And the Lurkers are in a beautiful spot here. They could even move a little bit closer here to they start hitting the structures.
Oh, the Disruptor pops in a very awkward spot.
Oh, and he actually killed the Disruptor before the Purification Nova went off, so the Hydras all live. And he is just hammering down on the wall of Bales here. The Lurkers are all still alive. There goes the robotics facility.
He's got one more. He actually has one more in the main going up as well. So he was going for triple robo, but this attack by Hydra just hits so incredibly quick. It hits so hard. And you mentioned it, the Phoenix is kind of that way. They're not doing anything. They're on the other side of the map being AFK.
Man. There's too many Hydras here for them to come in. I mean, there's lots of Stalkers, but there's too many Hydras. They are upgraded. They got +1 attack, +2 on the way. And with the 46 Ling reinforcement here from Hydra, with the 1-1 upgrades, I feel like that is going to seal the deal. This big rally here for the Zerg player is just going to be so strong here. One Disruptor trying to be the hero here, but I think it's just down on 1 hit point. 5 hit points.
These Lurkers are ridiculous. The Hydralisk will get picked up by this Phoenixes finally. I actually think he picks up a few too many there, because now the Phoenixes are not shooting at all. Here come those 56 Zerglings, and I think it's safe to say that the writing is on the wall here for game number 1. GG, Hydra wins on Dusk.
And that was a ZvP masterclass from the Korean Root player. That was a one-sided game, to say the least. Very well played there by Hydra.
You got to be a little bit critical of Bills as well. I love Bills, but I think he was doing too many things. You said it, like spraying himself thin across the board, going for all the tech, and also the timing of the Phoenixes. Like, Phoenixes are phenomenal in PvZ, but they're especially phenomenal early on when there's only, let's say, 40, 45 drones, and the first Phoenixes show up. They force out Spore Crawlers, keeps the drone count low, pick up a couple of drones here and there, keeps the drone count low. But if you start making Phoenixes when your opponent is already on 64 drone economy, these Phoenixes will have 0 impact on how big the Zerg army is. Like, yeah, you may get an Overlord here, you may get a Hydralisk there, but it's not very impactful. Like, killing drones when your opponent has 65 drones, who cares? You know, nobody cares.
It's just like he didn't know what he wanted to do that game or what he needed to commit to, because you have to make a choice and you have to stick with it, because Hydra is not going to miss a beat. He's not taking any damage back at home. There's no harassment happening.
And I still love that super fast Lurker build as well. I think it's devastating. I think it's very hard to deal with.
It felt like Hydra was playing 5 minutes faster than Bales in that first game.
Yeah, and Dust Towers also, it's one of these maps where I often feel you get a very good feel for how the series is going to get played out, right? Because
it's a very balanced, like, standard map. So.
Yeah, I think most people will agree that, like, it's one of the most fair maps out there. The second map in this series is going to be played on Pry and Terraces. Now, that's also a map where most people agree that it's not very fair and it's a little bit Zerg favored.
Yes, I was going to say, Zerg favored to say the least. For like a lot of the community and a lot of the pro players would definitely agree.
Did Neeb win on Pry and Terraces against Hydra? I think he did.
I think he did, which was like sort of hyping up the series a lot, that final, because they were like, wow, if he can win on the Zerg map, that's so sick. Neeb's the best.
And he did, but then he still lost the grand finals. Either way, both players are ready, so I'm just gonna say go. Good luck, have fun, as I am the host over here as well. And
yeah, you're the observer, so you actually you wear the daddy pants. You get to choose what happens when the game starts. It's your choice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Drunk with power.
I always feel, I don't know, very like, it's like a weird satisfaction going through my body knowing that I'm in charge. Makes me feel like a man, Maynard.
It's the human disease, Roddy, where we get a little bit of power.
A little bit of ego tripping.
You know what they say about absolute power?
What do they say?
Corrupts absolutely.
Corrupts?
It corrupts absolutely.
Oh.
If you have absolute power.
I've never heard
Luckily,
of this.
you only have a little bit. You're in charge of the lobby, so...
Actually, Maynard, I'm in charge of a lot of things.
Well,
I'm in charge of your flight, too.
I'll have to buy you a drink later and make sure that you give me a nice seat.
Just kidding, mate. Alrighty, we are loaded into Prime Terraces. The score is 1-0 in favor of Hydra. And Maynard, why don't you do what you do best?
It would be my distinct honor and privilege to introduce these players at the bottom right here from Flipside Tactics. Currently down 1 map, this is Bales. And it's up left from Root Gaming, the Austin champ, up 1-0. This is Hydra.
Gotta wonder what Hydra is gonna go for on this map. Obviously, the gold base is gonna allow him to do a few things a little bit faster. Maybe some crazy Queen attack. Queen Ravager, maybe it's very popular on this map. I wonder if Bills is gonna go for the same thing again. Now, if you guys wanna, you know, like look back at Dust Towers one more time, let's not forget that the very first two adepts, they are supposed to do something. This is unfortunate, by the way. When you probe scout, you wanna block that hatch.
I actually like sucked air between my teeth just then.
I heard it.
It's like,
no, like I have this all the time where it's like, all right, cool. I send my probe across the map immediately. Like, he already takes the hatch. How? That's like not supposed to happen. I was supposed to block it because obviously Zerg is not drone scouting because, you know, their pylons can fly, so these overlords are making their way across the map, and they will give them the confirmation of what is going on. As a Protoss, you need to play it a little bit safer. Why? Does he even have money for this? No. I was about to say, there's no freaking way that with an extractor and a pool, he has money to morph in this hatchery right now. That'd be crazy.
It would be crazy. He definitely wants that, and this is the reason why we say that this map is quite good for Zerg. Zerg with a lot of minerals, double gold base is...
I would drop a pylon, by the way,
pretty nuts.
You know you cannot... I love that Hydra sent the drone out so early, because he didn't have the money for it, but now when he does actually have the money for it, he can morph it in immediately.
And there's no bank, he actually spent the exact 300 minerals.
I love it. This was super smart, you know, just sending the drone out a little bit quicker. If I was built, I would have dropped the pylon there. I mean, some people might say like, I don't think it's really worth it, but the double gold, man, it's so intimidating.
Yeah, that's a lot of Zerglings, a lot of queens, a lot of drones.
A lot of everything.
A lot of everything.
Zerg is so mineral-based, especially early game when it comes down to getting those queens out, to getting as many drones out as possible.
Yep, tough to argue with that. And we got the natural of Bales just about to finish here, 3/4 of the way done. Speed on the way for Hydra. And wouldn't be surprised to see the exact same build, to be honest, to go for that Ling. I mean, I kind of feel like we'd probably be seeing Baneling Nest with that next 50 gas, but he's just taking it easy on the gas income at the moment. He's just now put 3 drones in the gas geyser.
I wouldn't mind seeing him go super crazy on Ling Bane on this map. It's going to be a pretty quick Twilight console. It could be an all-in, you know, with like 8 gateways and the Adept upgrade, which I think is very cool. I think actually that's what Neep did, right, on this map, where he just shaded a bunch of Adepts across the map. He survived the first few Banelings, and when you play Ling Bane against Adepts, can it work? Yes, absolutely. But if you take one bad fight with your Banelings, from that point on you will never be able to outnumber the Adepts anymore. From that point on, it's the beginning of the end for Zerg as well. So let's see, it could be a Dark Shrine. It could be both, actually. It could be Resonating Glaives and a Dark Shrine, but I don't expect anything else.
I'm feeling Resonating Glaives here. Definitely a good, there's the Resonating Glaives going down. So something a little bit interesting here is that Hydra didn't spend his first 50 gas on the Baneling Nest like I thought he would. He actually spent his next lot of gas on Pneumatized Carapace.
I think it's smart because he knows that he's going to have access to all the amount of or minerals in the world he could dream of. Just make sure you spend it on the right thing. And if you don't really know what your opponent is doing, go for Overlord Speed. Overlord Speed is a phenomenal upgrade early on. Your Overlords will survive. It's even good against target play if that's what you have to worry about. But he will not, but he will have a perfect scout in the main base. Look at this, and this is very frustrating to deal with as a Protoss, because there is nothing they can do to prevent this.
And Hydra's going to shake things up, going for a little bit of a pre-meta build here, going for the Roach Warren instead. Probably just because of the map that he's playing against, wants to try and get up that heavy hitting unit with a bit more of a mineral bank.
Yeah, and also just make sure that if he goes up against like 4 or 8 gateway adepts with that upgrade, once again you can clean it up with Ling Bane, but it becomes hard. And if like 15 adepts shade into a mineral line and they split up a little bit and they soak up a couple of the Banelings and they survive, well, Lynx cannot clean it up anymore. So going for Roaches is just a much safer play.
And he can also afford to go for Lair and 18 Zerglings as well to make a nice big scary ground army here. Could probably pressure that third Nexus. Petite, sorry, I already got Petite Drogo on my brain, man. That series stuck with me. But Bales, if he wants to go for that third Nexus, the Lings are going to be a pretty tough number to deal with here.
Yep, I mean, that's one of the things, once again, of Brian Terraces. Zerg can actually make 18 or 20 Zerglings and not feel behind, not feel like they really have to do anything about it.
Yeah, and look, he hits exactly as the Nexus goes down. Hydra with the map hacks.
Yeah, this guy. Whoa!
Oh,
no
cancel! No cancel! That huge blunder from Bales there.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts crazy much.
Crazy much indeed. pylon going down as well, just at the front there, just salting the wounds. But it looks like Bales is concentrating on this push here with the Adepts shading here, and he actually needs to retreat, and he does.
It's not doing enough, man. Look at the army supply, and it's going to get worse from this point on. I do like the idea. This is kind of Neep's build all over. The follow-up with the Immortals and maybe a couple of Blink Stalkers, but the Nexus being cancelled is bad. The Nexus being killed is really bad.
Yeah, that definitely didn't happen to Neeb. We got another shade here for a bit of a scout. And
poor Bills. We're just comparing him to Neeb over there. He's like, come on, guys.
Well, he's the next Protoss that we cast at a major tournament versus Hydra. It's hard not to.
Of course, the winner of this series will actually go up against Neeb, so Neeb is kind of relevant.
Absolutely. It'd be sick to see that rematch at the final of Austin again.
And so far, I think there is a good chance that we see it. But I really hope that Bailey, or Bills, makes a comeback over here. Photon Overcharge will keep this Nexus alive for now. Yeah. I mean, he's not down and out of this game, but it's just not been a very beautiful early game. With the opening that he went for, you want to do some damage. You really want to find an opening with your Adepts. You want to kill a whole bunch of drones, and he just hasn't really done anything of that. And yes, they are even on workers, but Bills has been mining up 2 bases, while Hydra has been very comfortably saturated on 3 bases, and that makes a world of difference.
So just a couple of Adepts in the main here from Bales, trying to get some drone damage done. I think he got a couple drones, but obviously that's not super critical. They are still parked in the main there. They didn't shade out. And we see that Hydra is actually going for Roach and Hydralisk, as he's getting the, probably, I guess, I dare say, going for Lurker with the Roach speed, just about to finish. +1 on the way for his ranged units.
Now, I would love to see a very fast Robo Bay over here. As long as there's no Spire, I think that Disruptors are always phenomenal in this matchup. And I really think that if Bills would be able to get a couple of Disruptors out, I think he would have a very good shot against the units that Hydra is currently working with. But with just Immortals and Blink Stalkers and Sentries, I think it's going to be a very rough fight. And I love these non-stop counterattacks. I mean, right now it's easy to deal with because you've still got some energy. The moment that the Mothership Core is out of energy, it's not going to be easy to deal with at all.
Prism coming in here for the reinforcement, and Bale starting to press the issue here with a relatively sized army here against Hydra.
Force fields?
Yeah, doesn't split up the force. It doesn't split up the forces of Hydra here. We see the army supply is heavily in favor of Hydra with 105 to 71. And Bales definitely does not want to overextend here. It would spell doom for him in the series.
I love how Hydra is always looking for an opening, right? If he accidentally pulled this Zealot out of position, these are small things. Hydra's trying. Does it not work? Well, no big deal. He doesn't really lose anything. But he's so active, so mobile with his forces that the moment there is an opening, he's going to capitalize on any mistake of his opponent immediately.
22 more Lings on the way. Ravage is being morphed here with those hurt Roaches and heading them across with a lot of Hydralisk as well. That is an insane DPS army with a lot of armor as well.
Yeah, and upgrades, man. +1 is done as well. +2 is on the way.
Yeah, absolutely, and here comes Hydra. That is a lot of Zerg on the dance floor. Bale's being pressed up here. He does have a ramp to retreat to. Force field's going down. Not that many sentries, not that much energy though. And Hydra just continues to press on. 40 supply advantage here for his army as he heads up.
Yeah, it's very rough. He got an Immortal before this fight started. Bills hasn't really killed a whole lot yet. He's looking for the right engagement, but now all of his productions.
He unpowers the body facility in 3 gateways. Bales has gone from bad to worse here in this game. He is in a rough spot. Hydra just about maxed. He's forced to fight this engagement. He's forced to come down here and meet Hydra, which is exactly what he wants with all of his Zerg numbers.
And all of these Protoss units just ate like 3 or 4 corrosive bow hits as well. A couple of points will go down. I must say, phenomenal job so far by Hydra, the way he's doing this, the way he's splitting up the forces, and the way he makes it so incredibly difficult for Bills to finally engage.
He's moved into a spot here where Hydra has a concave on the top here. He's out of sentry energy. The force field's about to go down. It doesn't even matter. Hydra just has way too much GG. Hydra 2-0 in a series against Bales.
Yeah, very convincing and dominating performance so far by Hydra. There's really no other way to look at it. Bills, again, like he's kind of committing to an opening with the 4 gateways and the Warp Prism and the Adept upgrade. You want to do something then, but right on that moment when he moves out, Hydra's there, like you're trying to go up to 3 bases, bam, Link shut it down. Didn't just force a cancel on the pylon, or did he kill the pylon? But he killed the Nexus.
The kill on the Nexus was a huge...
Yeah, that's...
It's not something you expect at this level at a WCS championship. You don't.
No, especially because it's like a bunch of Links as well, and the Nexus even had a little bit of HP. So, I mean, there's a good chance that Bill's maybe feeling a little bit exhausted as well. He's not. Let's not forget that he's not a super well experienced traveler
yet.
yet.
He's just gone from Austin, which was an exhausting tournament in itself, to go all the way to the other side of the world for.
And of course, you know, people will be like, "Well, Hydra did the same." Like, yeah, of course, Hydra did the same, but Hydra has also done this.
More tournaments.
Yeah, Hydra has already done this for a little bit longer than Bills has.
And he's been on stage stage so many more times. He's been a champion so many times.
Has played for this amount of money so many times.
He's used to these stakes.
Yep.
Like it's his bread and butter. Which is obviously it's the kind of animalistic, cutthroat sort of way you need to be to win tournaments.
And you can definitely see it so far. Like, I've seen a lot of games off Bills, and I'm a little bit of a fan of Bills as well, because I think...
I am too, man. I think he's really good.
Yeah, he's a
lot better than what he's showing at the moment.
Absolutely. He's without a shadow of a doubt, I would say top 5 North American Protos. Some people say he's definitely top 4 behind Puck, Hawk, Neep. There are some people who even say, I think he's better than Hawk. I think he might be better than Puck. I don't think anybody would say he's better than Neep right now, because Neep is, you know...
He's kind of #1 in America, not just for Protoss, but...
Exactly.
Like,
everybody kind of agrees on that one.
Yeah.
But Bills is a very good player. So far, just not really capable of showing it. Obviously, he's going up against the guy that just won DreamHack Austin as well, and who's obviously
very intimidating.
In shape.
Yeah, I'd be wiggling in my boots, Roddy, up against Hydra for sure.
Me too. I play him
for $3,000 and 300 WCS points.
I play him on ladder every now and then for 1 ladder point, because his MMR is so much higher than mine that even if I lose against Hydra, it's -1 point. It was like, you know what, I can live with that.
It's pretty sick that he plays plenty of NA though. It's making that ladder a little bit more competitive.
Hydra's doing a great job for the scene in general. He always he speaks with people, he reaches out to people. I know
he's embraced American culture. He loves burgers. He loves the way of life. Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's engaged now as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dongwon's engaged.
With who? With cats?
El Capitan. Who knows what happens in that root house, Roddy?
Yeah, I mean, hey. You never know, guys. All right, we're going to hop into game number 3 on Runes of Endian. Over here on the left bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the man who's up 0-2. So my scoreboard is wrong. I apologize.
You got it.
He's representing Root Gaming. It is Hydra.
Absolutely, and in the bottom right, the challenger. He's got a tough road ahead of himself in this series. This is Flipside Tactics Bales.
Bill's sending out the probe very quickly. He's going to send out... Oh, no. Interesting. So this time, I guess, he just really wanted to make sure that he could block the hatchery, if that is going to be the case, if it is going to be a hatch first, and it will be. Blocking the hatch on this map is very useful, by the way, because you force the drone to go all the way up north here, and eventually they want to take that base. Ah, he's falling for the trick. No!
Oh.
That was a trick.
It's the quick one, too.
Yeah, because it actually makes a big difference, because if you force Zerg to take their first expand over here, the moment that their main base is saturated, every drone they transfer from this hatchery has to go all the way, like here. And it takes a while, you know, it takes a long time before those drones start mining.
And without creep spread, it's tough to defend as well. If you open for like that double adept gateway opening, it's a little bit tough.
Yep, unfortunately, Bills fell for the trick. Hydra is just pulling tricks on Bills over here, left and right. And it's not been the series so far of Bills. I really hope for him and just for his confidence that he gets a point on the board over here, that he plays a great game.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can still turn this into a competitive series, because, yeah, so far these have been one-sided games where Hydra does a build and kind of wins.
And once again, Hydra engaging the probe at the third with 100 minerals. Does drop the pylon. He's listening to you, Roddy.
That's smart. I like that a lot. I mean, I think it's more impactful on Pry and Terraces, actually, unfortunately, because of those gold bases. But this is something. It would have still been so much better for Bills if he was just able to block this one. Sometimes I think these Protoss players, they get too carried away. It's just like, send your first probe here, your scouting probe. Keep it over here, circle it. If you see a drone, circle it long enough so you can get your own nexus. And right after that, just drop the pylon. It's completely worth it.
Absolutely, and the pylon is getting chewed on here by the drone, really heavily delaying that third hatchery.
Yeah. That is definitely nice. I still think it would have been a lot more impactful if he did it in natural, but it's something. I'm happy with it, Maynard.
Well, as long as you're happy, Roddy, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. I live a lonely life.
Extra couple of Zerglings they're going to add to the DPS. Quite a lot there and get rid of that pylon quick smart. And we see the Adept opening again here from Bales.
Wow, this is me. I do this too. This is awesome. The Cybernetic score. You know why you get a Cybernetic score instead of a gateway? More HP. 50 HP, so it regenerates a little bit quicker.
There you go.
I used to always warp in a gateway as well, and then Todd was watching my stream. He's like, hey, You should wipe in the gate 7 days score. I was like, why? He's like, it's because more HP. You stupid. I was like, oh, you're right, Todd.
I like how Todd always adds that extra little bit to his advice there, just to let you know what he thinks of you as a player.
Yeah, most of the time he uses a different word, but I cannot use it on this broadcast.
It's not really repeatable. This is a PG and M at best stream.
But this is awesome. I mean, look at the clock right now. 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and Hydra's on 2 bases. Like, what? I love it, Bills. This is great for him. He's up 3 workers. Now Hydra is forced to make more links of only the 2 hatchery production. Great start by Bills. So much better than anything that happened in game number 1 or 2.
This is what we wanted to see. It's forcing Hydra's hand here to go for a quicker lair. And you know, obviously delaying that third means he needs to tech up instead and get something on the board here.
Wow, and the confidence that Bills did all of this without a mothership core, by the way. I find that crazy because link drops are very popular on this map, and sometimes when you block a base, they're like, you know what? Ling all in, Ling swarm, you know, Baneling boss, anything like that. But Bills is showing that he's not all that nervous now. He's playing with a little bit of confidence, delaying the mothership core. And if you guys wonder, like, well, what's the big deal? Obviously, that means that he could have put his gas in different units. And more importantly, he's always building probes. Because the moment you build a mothership core, you're not building probes for roughly like 18 seconds or however long it takes to build a mothership core. So he just got a tiny bit of extra economy out. That really does help because at the highest level, all these small things, they matter a lot.
Really solid opening here. And it actually looks like Bale's is going to hit a very nice timing with this drop here, where it looks like Hydra is actually trying to tech up to Roaches. So he's not actually... Oh, and Aspire as well. So Hydra's trying to tech very heavily here, and Bales is just as he's teching up going to hit with a dropship, or a Warp Prism, sorry, with 4 Adepts in it. Sorry, with a Sentry as well. And he's force fielded the natural ramp.
Gotta keep that Warp Prism alive though. It's taking a little bit too much damage. It's a nice idea of Bills, but it's not going to work. He's gonna have to pick up these units from far away.
Yeah, too many Zerglings.
Oh my god.
Careful, Bales.
Careful.
He was alright. He pulled it up. The Warp Prism does survive. Very, very touched up though.
Yep, he's gonna let those shields regenerate for a little bit. Could try to do the same thing all over again, but it's much more important that Bills actually drops these adepts and just shade them in. While he's working on this overload. This is a little bit frustrating. He is getting his target, so I think that Bills is like, hey, I wasn't born last night. I know your army composition ain't right. Something's missing.
That rhymes. You're rapping for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, when the mutas come out, he can actually have those Phoenixes already on the board to deal with them. You don't need as many Phoenixes as there is mutas because of the kiting ability and the range and all that sort of stuff.
As long as you've got access to Phoenix, that already makes your life a whole lot easier. Look at the gas count. Hydra does bank quite a bit of gas.
He's going to make a lot of mutas.
It's so important for Bills that he figures this one out, and he hasn't seen it yet. Just start building Phoenixes immediately, man. You gotta Chrono Boost out them Phoenixes. If he gets 2-3 Phoenixes out by the time the mutas are in his base, it's fine. Chrono Boost. Need to Chrono Boost, Bills. Okay, he's gonna see the Spire right
there
about now.
Funk so, brother.
Yep. Love it, man. That's why it's great casting with you.
Yeah, I like my 90s dance music, Roddy. Not gonna lie, that stuff got me through those early tournaments back in the day, my early esports career.
All right, so Bills knows what he's up against. He's going to get a second Stargate. Of course, it is a little bit troublesome that his third base is kind of late as well because of that creep that was blocking it. One Guardian Shield is going to get popped over here. When Mutalisk will start picking away at one sentry, but as long as he doesn't lose a whole bunch of probes, which he shouldn't, Photon Overcharge is extremely good. Yep. Double Photon Overcharge, triple, make it triple. Yeah.
Oh, baby, a triple. That's just a double. And that actually, that one Phoenix can kite a little bit here, getting another Mutalisk. Solid defense for Bale so far.
Yep. Of course, during all of this, Hydra, being the amazing Zerg that he is already going up to Lurkers.
Yeah, his next step of his grand plan here, his master plan.
So it's important that you don't overcommit with the Phoenixes unless you want to go absolutely crazy on the Phoenixes. You don't just make 8, but you make like 20, and then you force the Zerg. It's like, yeah, Lurkers are great, but if you don't have enough Hydras, you know, then my Phoenixes can just range from above.
Not too many probes to pick off here. He is going to get one with the mutas and then dart out. The Phoenixes can put chase.
Yeah, it is very important that Bill starts saturating his base though and actually start mining from it. Because we're 7 minutes and 20 seconds in the game right now. Most of the time, to give you guys an idea, Protoss plays go up 2-3 bases around the 4-minute mark. So, you know, it's done like around the 5-minute mark. And that's when you already transfer a whole bunch of probes and stuff. So he needs to start mining up this. And well, he's got the probe count for it, so he's doing it.
Yeah, Rock's getting knocked down here for Hydra. Obviously, Zergs want as many entrances and as many attack paths as possible against the Protoss. And he's getting up into Lurk attack. That's just about to finish here. His next step,
Yeah.
get those Hydra counts up, +1 attack, Lurkers, and having them sieged up in front of all the production of the Protoss.
What I would love to see right now is just go absolutely crazy on the Phoenix count and even get +1 on the Phoenixes. I know this is bizarre, and I know a lot of pros would disagree with me over here, but
Talk us through it, Roddy.
I think going for a lot of Phoenixes over here would be very good because the Hydra count is not going to be astronomical. So if you're facing like, what, 12 Hydra lists, but you show up with 14 Phoenix with +1, do you know how amazing that is? You pick up these Hydras and then you pick up the Lurkers.
Oh, the Lurkers at the back here actually in a little bit of danger. There's only 2 Hydras back here. Oh, it's actually flying over the ball of Hydras here. That's a miscontrol there from Bales.
And again,
not paying attention to the Phoenixes.
And one Immortal gets picked up as well before the fight even starts. That's a missed opportunity. There were 3-4 Hydras there that were so exposed.
And there goes that cannon, there goes that detection, and the Lurkers are putting all the damage here on the face of Bales. He's in a lot of trouble here. The Observer just now joining the fight, picking up those Lurkers for the Phoenixes. The Hydra is dealing with the Phoenixes though from the ground. Is there enough here from Bales to press Hydra back? It does not look like it.
No, his main army is still struggling with these Zerglings as well, and all the Hydra lists are still full on HP. He didn't really have the Phoenix numbers because he stopped building Phoenixes, and he didn't have an answer to these Lurkers either. And of course, one Immortal got picked up again. Very rough series for Bills. Definitely feel a little bit bad.
He'll be going back to the drawing board after this series here in Tours, but Hydra is going to go to the round of 16 all but surely here as Bales starts to get that death animation. Just watching this Protoss unfortunately fall apart at the seams to the superior ZvP skills of Hydra.
It was just too much. I mean, game number 1, game number 2, very rough. There comes the GG, and Hydra advances to the round of 16, where he can get ready mentally and probably physically as well to have a rematch with Neep. Neep, who early today, by the way, on stage said that he was not very worried about Hydra and that he felt that Snoot was harder than Hydra, but that the nerves of the grand final in Austin were just kind of getting to him, but that he's feeling really good about the rematch and that he thinks he can take him.
That's really pleasing to hear, Roddy, because I would love for that series to be a lot closer between Hydra and Neeb.
I actually heard this from other people. I thought the finals was close.
Well, every game was close, but I mean, score-wise, I want to see a 3-2.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean,
maximum games.
It was 4-2, which is not the max amount of games, but 4-2 or 4-3. Yeah, and I feel like Game 6 was a map that Neep was winning, so we were close to a Game 7. I felt it was a close final in Austin. Anyway, this will be the last opportunity we have to talk about Bills. I just want to say, you know, like I think it was a very rough series. Game number 1 and game number 2, we just had very unfortunate starts. Never really got anything going.
Yeah, don't take that series to heart, guys. Like you guys that are watching and maybe you haven't seen Bales play before, he was a lot better than that. He's an incredible Protoss.
He is, yeah.
So
he absolutely is a lot better. He's like a big inspiration, I think, as well for a lot of North American Protoss players, because he has made that move of being your regular ladder player to actually being very competitive in WCS tournaments as well.
And I fully expect for him to be at more WCS Premier events, to be at more championships. Absolutely, he's going to get better and better as tournaments go on. So.
You can only just take notes from this series, and obviously just take the overall experience with you and put it under your belt. Be like, all right, you know, at least I made that journey once. I know what it feels like right now. I know what it feels to play somewhere that's so different than home, where everything is just a little bit different. He can play a lot better than he did today. I think he knows it. I think he's the first one to admit it. Game number 3 was the closest to what we can expect from Bills, and I think he had the right idea. Just, I think at a certain point he got a little bit lost against the Phoenixes, maybe like overly focused on those Mutalisks, not paid enough attention to what was actually going on the other side of the map, and then he wasn't really ready for that one and almost, I would say, only attack of Hydra, because if that attack of Hydra does not work either, Hydra's in a lot of trouble, because then the lurker count is going to be low, Mutalisk are not an option anymore, but I mean, we're just casting a hypothetical game right now that didn't happen because Bills got maybe a little bit too carried away.
And look at that. We got our first TVT coming up with another TVT on the other side. There you go. Terran Hype. Polt versus U-Thermal on the top left there, and the bottom right, Bunny and Masa. Cham getting through Bly there. I think actually Bly is quite sick. He might have a fever. So
I saw the tweets as well. That's very unfortunate for him. Definitely a couple of upsets already today, I'd say, man.
Yeah, Guru is a big one. Yeah.
And I think for some people, I would say, I mean, I think Cham over Bly is a big upset as well. I think Masa over Puck is maybe not a big upset, but...
incredibly close series. Very entertaining.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised by it. I mean, these two guys have been kicking ass lately. Masa was phenomenal in Austin. Overall, I'm very happy with how day 1 is unfolding.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying about Bales, just one last point. he made a few mistakes in that series, and Hydra is the kind of guy that will actually just win the game if you make a mistake. You make one mistake, and that's just it.
And that's so unfortunate, because that makes for a quote-unquote like ugly series, and that's just, it's so rough, you know, to see that, because I know how good Bills can be. I know how close he could make a series against Hydra, but now you travel all the way to Europe, and yeah, it was kind of a sweep. There's no other way to put it, and I could completely agree with that statement. Like, it looks like it was the most one-sided games ever, but it's more just like...
It's just because of how good Hydra is.
Yeah, you make an early mistake against Hydra, it is going to be one-sided, not because you suck, just because Hydra will not allow you to crawl back into the game.
And Hydra goes in the round 16, a favorite to win the whole thing. Will he, though? Stay tuned, guys. We're going to hit a commercial, but don't go away. More games coming up very soon.